Okay, thank you very much to welcome you to Mason African Motives, the channel that you know very well that is going to respond positively to your needs. So make sure that you are going to share with those who are interested and also make sure that you hit the subscription button. So we are going to talk about a business that is grade 11, term 3 under entrepreneurship. So we are first going to talk about the meaning of entrepreneurship, the meaning of an entrepreneur, the meaning of an entrepreneur. So it says the word entrepreneurship, the word entrepreneur refers to a person who demonstrates attitudes, behaviors, knowledge, and skills needed to start and make a success of a business venture. So we are told that a person is a person who demonstrates the attitudes. Person who demonstrates the attitudes, knowledge, as well as skills that are going to be needed when starting or establishing a business venture. So with attitudes, you need to have what? The right business attitudes. You need to have right knowledge. You need to have right skills to start a business. So with attitudes, we are saying you need to have a positive mindset. You need to have a positive mindset. Positive mind set. You need to have positive mindset because this is where you're going to, this is about believing that for what you have failed, it is a learning opportunity. Say maybe you failed to launch a product. So that failing is a learning opportunity. So that is a positive mindset when you're saying that is what entrepreneur needs to have. Also, as an entrepreneurship, you need what? A knowledge, right knowledge. So you can make an example of market knowledge. Can make an example of market knowledge, market knowledge, whereby we are trying to say you need to know your customers. Who are your customers? What they need. That is a very important knowledge that you have to have when you are starting what? A business as an entrepreneur. Also, we can talk about financial knowledge, whereby now you need to understand how to manage income, expenses, as well as what? As well as profits. Also, you need to have what? Right skills. You need to have right skills, whereby we can talk about problem solving skill, can talk about problem solving skill. So with problem solving skills, let's say your suppliers are now expensive. So you need to have the skills of how are you going to solve that problem. That is where now you're going to find cheaper suppliers when the current one is now failing you. So that is that. Now moving on to another point. As you can see, this other definition is still the same as the one on top. Now we come to where it says an entrepreneur is an individual who creates new business, bearing most of the risk and enjoy most of the rewards. So here we are trying to say the entrepreneur is going to take on risk. The entrepreneur is going to take on risk. It's going to take on risk and enjoy profits. That is that. That is when an entrepreneur creates a new business or bearing most of the risk and enjoy most of the rewards. So it means he's going to take on risk and later on he's going to what? Be rewarded. He's now going to enjoy what? The profits after all. Now we move on to another point where we are told that uh, It is the process of setting up a business as a is known as an entrepreneur. That one is clear. That process of starting a new business is called what? Entrepreneurship. So sometimes you'll be asked to differentiate between an entrepreneur uh, and entrepreneurship. Those two are different because entrepreneurship is a process of starting business, but an entrepreneur is a person who start a business. Hope we are together on that one. Now we come to another point when it says the entrepreneur is commonly seen as an innovator. Is commonly seen as an innovator, source of new ideas, or goods and services and business or procedures. That is when you're talking about an entrepreneur seen as an innovator. So here we can talk about the entrepreneur is the one who's going to bring new ideas. Bring new ideas. Bring new ideas, goods or services to life. So we bring new ideas to life. That is that. Is commonly seen as an innovator. So he's an innovator because he's going to come up with new ideas. He's going to come up with new ideas, and that is how the entrepreneur is, by bringing new ideas to life. Now we move on to another point. Entrepreneurs play a key role in any economy as they use their skills and initiative necessary to anticipate needs and bring good new ideas to market. Now we are talking about key economic role, where we are talking about economy. Key economic role, where we are talking about economy. So it means an entrepreneur uses skills to meet needs and introduce new solutions. Entrepreneur that's what uses skills. Entrepreneur uses skills to meet uh, needs and introduce solutions. So that is that. That's how we can explain this point, where we are told that entrepreneur play a key role in any economy as they use their skills and initiative necessary to anticipate needs and good bring good new ideas to market. So that is when we are saying they use their skills to meet needs and introduce solutions in the market. In the market. In the market. So that is that. Now we have to move on to qualities of an entrepreneur. Now we move on to qualities of an entrepreneur. Qualities of an entrepreneur. So here we are going to talk about risk taking or willingness to take risk and to make difficult decisions. Make difficult decisions. So here, the first point that they are talking about when we are talking about the risk taking, they are saying risks are classified as unforeseen events that can impact negatively on a decision. That is that. Also, they are saying successful entrepreneurs are willing to take risks by investing all resources in new business. The primary function of an entrepreneur is to accept risk on behalf of others and be rewarded in return. Every business needs to innovate and take risks to survive. Innovative and risk-taking are essential to what business are and they do. So, in short, entrepreneurs take what? They take moderate risk. Entrepreneurs face uncertain outcomes must make hard choices. So they face uncertain, as we are told, risk are classified as unforeseen events. So it simply says the entrepreneurs, they are going to do what? Face out uncertain outcomes and must make hard choices. So we are saying they face uh, uncertain outcomes. They face uncertain outcomes because they don't know that to their ideas that they come to with what are going to be outcomes. So they are risk taking. Also, an entrepreneurs, they take what? Calculated risk. They like investing money or time into new ventures. Successful entrepreneurs are willing to take risk by investing all resources in new business. So it means that they take calculated risk. They take calculated risk. Why? Because they like investing money or time into new ventures. So that is that entrepreneurs, they are willing to take risk. They are not afraid of taking risk. Also, now we are told that the primary function of entrepreneurs is to accept risk on behalf of others and be rewarded in return. Also, we are also told that the business needs to be innovative and take risks to survive. That is that. So, for this, what we can say to sum up this risk taking and willingness to take risk and to make difficult decisions, we are saying the entrepreneurs take what? Moderate risk. They are willing to take risk because risks are also necessary for growth and innovation. That is why we are now told about every business needs to be innovative. So that is when you're talking about, because risk is necessary for growth. Risk is necessary for growth and also and innovation. So now moving on to creative and innovation. Now we move on to creative and innovation. Creative and innovation. So with creative and innovation, we are going to talk about how entrepreneurs are going to be creative. So now we are told that an entrepreneur must be able to come up with something new. They must come up with something new or do things differently. That's how we can say now they are creative. So they must be able to come up with new ideas. Yeah. Come up with new ideas. Come up with new ideas and solve problems. And solve problems in a different ways. In a different ways. He or she must be able to generate new ideas to solve business problems. That is that. For you to solve business problems, that is when now you have to come up with new ideas so that you can be able to manage to solve the problems. Also, entrepreneurs should also be able to use same product to satisfy different needs. So another point that we can talk about, this is where we can say they can use the same resources in a creative way. Okay, they can use the same resources in a creative ways. In a creative ways. That is that. So that they can be able to meet various customers' needs. So hope we are still on the same page. Now we move on to confidence and adaptability. Confidence and adaptability. So now we are told that successful entrepreneurs believe in their own abilities and they will achieve their goals. That is that. Successful entrepreneurs, they believe in their own abilities. So now we can talk about belief in their ability to reach what? Their goals. They believe in their abilities to reach their goals. That's when we are talking about confidence and ability. Okay, we are talking about what? Uh, we are talking about so we are talking about where we are talking about confidence and adaptability, where we are saying they believe in their own abilities, believe in their own abilities to reach their goals, to reach their goals. So they believe in themselves so that they can be able to reach what? Their goals. The second point, they say they are positive and focus on things that could go right. Things that could go right instead of on things that could go wrong. Here we are saying they stay what? Positive. They stay positive. They stay positive. They stay positive and are solution focused. They stay positive and they are solution focused. So they don't focus on things that go wrong, but they want to come up with what? With solutions. That is why we are saying they are always positive that they can make things what? Right. So now moving on to another point where we are told that they have a healthy opinion of themselves and strong assertive personality. They have a strong assertive personality where they can be able to handle change and adjust their plans when needed. Moving on to another point, they are focused and determined to achieve their goals. They are focused and determined to achieve their goals. Also, successful entrepreneurs are adaptable as they are able to change course and try another way round. So to that point, when we're talking about they have healthy opinion of themselves and strong assertive personality, it simply says they have a strong personality. Entrepreneurs have strong personality. Strong personality. So they have strong personality. That's how entrepreneurs are. They have strong personality. And then, uh, just to make an example of this confidence and adaptability so that we can make it more clearer, this is where we can say, well, let's say Tabo is launching a clothing brand. So when his original marketing strategy fails, Tabo, he confidently tries a different one. Maybe using a TikTok just to boost his sales. So he realized that his original marketing strategy failed. he constantly tries a different one just to make sure that he solve the problem that is there. So now we move on to another quality of entrepreneur, where we are going to talk about passion and energy. Where we're going to talk about passion and energy. So this with passion and energy, this is whereby uh, the entrepreneurs should show enthusiasm to achieve the best solution. So the entrepreneurs should show the enthusiasm, show strong enthusiasm. They should show strong enthusiasm. They should show strong enthusiasm. Should show strong enthusiasm for their business and goals. For their business and goals. They should show strong enthusiasm for their business and goals. That is very important. Also, the passion can be illustrated when an entrepreneur finds it difficult to simply walk away from failure or setback. That is that. So it means they are to stay committed even when they face challenges or failure. Stay committed. Stay committed even when they face challenges. Even when they face challenges. That is that. With this point where we are told about passion can be illustrated when an entrepreneur finds it difficult to simply walk away from failure and setback. So entrepreneurs should stay what? Committed even when they face challenges or failure. That is what they should do. That's when you're talking about passion and energy. Now we are to move on. So now we are told that uh, that is that. So with the example under the passion and energy that we can give, this is where we can say, let's say, despite many setbacks that you can come across, uh, you have to wake up very early every day, excited to grow your business, and keep working hard even when only few customers are coming. That is the passion. You need to have that passion. Even if you see that there are few customers that are coming, but you need to always be excited to grow. So that is why I'm saying, despite many setbacks, wake up early every day, excited to grow your business. Let's say electronic repair business. So you keep working hard, even if there are few customers that are coming to your shop. So that is the passion and energy that you must have as an entrepreneur. Hope we are together on that. Hope we are together on that. Now we are to move on. Now we are to move on. So here we are told that you must we are told that you must be able to develop questionnaire or interview schedule that will be used to assess a business against the qualities of an entrepreneur. Questions must be structured in such a way that entrepreneur will be able to respond to each entrepreneur quality So there are examples that are given there of the questions that one can ask himself. These are the qualities of entrepreneur. Here are the questions, and here are the responses, whereby we are saying risk taking. What are you going to do if your business fails? So, what are you going to do if your business fails? So, that is a question that, as an entrepreneur, you need to ask yourself that question. What are you going to do if your business uh, is failing? So that is under risk uh, taking. Maybe you can say, if you realize that your business is failing, you are going to try by all means to identify the causes. What causes this business to fail? That is where we can say you are going to identify the causes. You're going to identify the causes of the failure. So this is where you're going to determine the root cause of failure, such as maybe insufficient demand or poor revenue streams. So that is a response that you can give as an entrepreneur. You first have to identify the causes of being failure. And then now also you can do what? Seek professional help. You can seek for professional help. Again, you consider, you consult with the business advisors or mentors to get expert guidance. That is a response that we can get. Now we are coming to creative and innovation, where now you ask, how do you solve business problems? How do you solve business problems? And what makes you sell different types of products? So how are you going to solve business problems? That is very important. That you're going to learn from failure. This is where you're going to view failures as opportunities to learn. That is how you can solve business problems. You're going to learn from failing and then improve rather than setbacks. Also, that is why we are saying you are going to learn from failure. How do you solve business problem? You learn from failing, or you can use design thinking. Can use design thinking. Can use design thinking. Can use design thinking, whereby you apply solutions based process that involves maybe empathy, observation, and experimentation. That is how you can answer. So now moving on to the one for passion and energy. Passion and energy. So with passion and energy, also you are to answer the question that can come, where we are asked, how many hours do you spend in your business and how do you feel about it? So as an entrepreneur, because the business is yours, you can answer that. Maybe we can say you can take, let's say, 20 hours. You can take 20 hours and you're going to feel good about it because it is your business. Now we move to product and customer focus. How to ensure that the needs of your customers are satisfied? How do you ensure that the needs of your customers are satisfied? This is where now you are going to try by all means to understand customers' needs. You first have to understand customers' needs. Customers' needs. That is how you can be able to ensure that the needs of customers are satisfied. First, understand what they need. That is the easy way that you can be able to respond to their needs. Now we come to responsibility. Where now we are told, did you ever make a bad decision? If yes, how did you handle them? That is under responsibility. So let's take it. Yes, yes, I made a bad business decision in the past, and to handle them, how are you going to do? That is, you acknowledge and learn. You acknowledge and learn. You recognize the mistake and take responsibility and learn from it. That is why we are saying acknowledge, you acknowledge, you acknowledge and learn. You acknowledge and learn. So that is that. That is the question. Did you ever make a bad business decision? If yes, how did you handle them? So we are saying, yes, I made bad decisions in the past. To handle them, I recognize the mistake. I recognize the mistake and take responsibility and learn from it. That is that. Now we come to another one, competence and ability. So the question says, what makes you believe that your business will be sustainable and successful? So with this one, this is whereby now you're going to try by all means to say a clear innovation strategy, maybe, where we can say a well-defined strategy that aligns with business objective and customers' needs. Or we can talk about adaptability, the ability to adapt to changing market. The ability, the ability to adapt to changing market. That is that. The ability to adapt to changing market conditions, customers' preferences, and technological advancement. Advancements. So that is how you can be able to respond on those questions and the qualities of an entrepreneur. So now we move on to key success factors of entrepreneur. Key success factors of entrepreneur. So we are now talking about the key success factors of a business. Key success factors of a business. So now we are talking about sustainability. We are talking about sustainability, where we want our business to remain in the market. So the sustainability means that we are going to implement practices that are going to minimize the environment impact while ensuring long-term viability. So that is that when you're talking about sustainability. This is where we are trying by all means to implement practices that we are very sure that they are going to minimize environmental impact while we are ensuring long-term viability. So that is that. So now the points that I mentioned here is that it continues to exist despite all the challenges and threats it is confronted with. So the business must remain in the market despite the challenges and threats that are going to come. So they must what? They must face the challenges. They don't have to run away from the challenges. Business must what? Face the challenges. For it to remain in the market, they must face challenges. And try by all means to respond to those challenges. Try by all means to respond to those challenges. So again, we are now told again that does not damage the environment, does not damage environment and community in which it operates. So that is that the business is not supposed to damage the environment where it operates. Meaning to say, the business is supposed to reduce waste in its operations. The business is supposed to reduce waste in its operations. Reduce waste in its operations. In its operations. That is that. They have to make sure that they are going to do that. So they have to implement renewable energy sources. That is that. They need to make sure that they don't damage the environment as well as the community where it is operating. Also now coming to where it says manages and reports on triple bottom line, where we are talking about profits, people, as well as planet. So they must make sure that they manage reports on a triple bottom line. So when you are talking about profit, the business must make sure that they are not going to get profit at an expense of the community. Also, the business must make sure that with the part of its profit is going to be is going to help the community. They are going to give back to the community. They are going to come up with the projects that are going to help the community to grow. But when it comes to people, we are talking about social responsibility. Business should prioritize the well-being and interest of their stakeholders, including even their employees, customers, and communities. That is what it is supposed to do. But when it comes to planet, this is where now we are talking about the environmental sustainability, where business should minimize their environmental impact and promote sustainable practices. So this is where now we are still talking about where we are saying it must reduce what waste in its operations. Now we are moving on to another point. Attracts and retains employees more easily. So the business must make sure that it keeps its employees. Make sure that there are no employee turnover. So for it to keep its employees, they must make sure that they keep their employees what? Motivated. They must keep their employees motivated. That is very important. So that the employees, they will work towards their common goals. They will be able to reach the objectives of the goals of the business. So also they have to make sure that they are going to compensate them very well. Their compensation, their payments, their salaries are going to be the good ones, because that will keep our employees motivated. Now we go back, we go to another point where it talks about experiences less financial reputation. Experiences less financial as well as the reputation. This is where by now we are saying we are talking about reduced potential for financial loss. You can say reduced um, potential for financial loss. Potential for financial loss. Financial loss. So with this one, we are saying the business is less likely to incur financial loss due to unforeseen circumstances or poor decision making. So that is that. Also, they talk about reputation risk. This is why the business here is trying to protect their brand reputation. So that is that. They don't want to suffer a damage due to poor practices or scandals that may happen. So now we move on to another point. Involve stakeholders in joint decision making and learning from customers, employee, and surrounding uh, community. This is where now we can practice what you call a decentralized decision making. Decentralized decision making. Decentralized decision making, where you are going to involve even your employees to decision making as a as a business, where you are going to make sure that you involve them, even as well as what the customers, because they will tell the customers this is where they can be able to give you what their needs. So the employees, they can come up with opinions, strategies, good ideas that can help a business to grow, as well as the community. So it's very important that when you make decision, the decisions are not only concentrate on you as an organization. Moving on to another point, puts environmental management system in place to minimize the effects of business activities on environment. So make sure that the environment is kept safe. Analyze the environmental and social impacts on the products and services the business uses and produces. Reveals exactly what the business does and what as well it it stands for. That is very important. So that is a sustainability. That is a sustainability that we are uh, talking about. Now we can move on to profitability. We can move on to profitability. Profitability. So with profit or with profitability, uh, we are going to talk about generating revenue and managing costs to ensure financial stability and growth. So where we are going to try to generate profit and we are going to manage the costs. We are going to manage the cost to ensure financial stability as well as what? As well as a growth. As well as growth. Now we come to profitability means makes money and management is passionate about their business uh, operations. So that is that when you're talking about profitability. Now we move on. So make sure that you are still listening very attentively, pay more attention to understand the presentation, understand the presentation. So now we come to another point that is under profitability. Manages money in such a way that sound return on investments can be guaranteed to investors. So manage a money in such a way that the sound return on investment can be guaranteed to investors. So that the investors will always want to make business with you. So manage money in such a way that they are going to get a good return on their investment. That is very important. Attracts even more investors, which enables the business to expand its activities and become even more profitability. So it's about managing money. It's about making sure that the business is profitable. So once the business is profitable, it simply says it will attract the investors because they will be ensured that they are going to get good return, return on their investments. That is very important. Now moving on to customer base. Customer base. So with customer base, what we are trying to say under this one, that is whereby you are trying to build a loyal customer base through excellent service. Through excellent service, quality products, as well as personalized experiences. That is how you can be able to do it. So here we are told that it customer base means that meets the needs of customer consistency and provides excellent service. Like I said, so for you to keep the customer with your business, for them to make a repetitive purchase, to always come back to the business, that is when you are going to provide what the excellent services. keeps on looking for ways to expand their customer base. So make sure that you are always looking for ways to expand the customer base. Make sure that you're going to gain more customers. You can even open new other branches. You can open branches to other places for you to try to expand your customer bases. Also, you can also make sure that you market your products online. Market your products online on social media so that you can reach as many customers as you can. Now, keeps a record of the people buying their products. So it's very important that you are going to have a record of people who are buying your products. It's very important. Collect the customer's contact details so that if you have new products in your business, you will be able to contact them. That you now you're having new products and stuff like that. So it's very important to keep their contacts. Now we are moving on to knowing the market. Knowing the market. So with this one, we are going to talk about knowing the market. Knowing the market. So knowing market, it simple means it's conducts through a research. Conduct a through research, trying to find out about the needs of the customers, the type of customers that buy a product or service. So that is how you can do it, whereby you are doing a research. You do a research because you want to find out the customers' needs. What do they need? So that you can be able to respond to their needs. Identify the needs and tastes of customers helps ensure continuous product and service development. So if you identify their needs and preferences, it is going to help you to do what? To to make sure that you're going to give a good service. You're going to develop your products in such a way that they're going to respond positively to the needs of the customers. Now we come to a good leadership. After we now know what is knowing your market. Make sure that you understand that. Knowing your market. That is when you understand your target audience as well. That is when you understand your target audience. Understanding of target audience. That is that. So you understand the target audience, their needs and their market trends is crucial for business success. So that knowledge will help you to tailor your products or service to meet customers' demand and stay ahead of your competitors. Hope we understand the point. Now coming to a good leadership. Very important this one again. Effective leadership provides a clear vision and direction for the organization. That is very important. Effective effective sorry we are trying to say effective what I was trying to say is that what I was trying to say was effective leadership provides a clear uh, vision. Effective leadership provides a clear vision. Clear vision. Clear vision and direction. Clear vision and direction for the organization. So that will inspire and motivate employees to work towards common goals. So strong leaders make informed decisions and drive business growth. So that is that. So here we are told that a business needs good leaders who are team players, listen to staff members and respect them. That is very important. Uh, Good leaders are supposed to be team players. They must lead by what? By examples. Also have to lead by examples. And they have to also listen to staff members' opinions. They don't have to ignore the staff members. They have to make sure that they listen to them and respect them. Good leaders also bring energy. Also bring energy ethos, also the agents. So good leaders, if you they motivate the staff very well, they will make the staff members or the subordinates or employees to work very hard. Also, always trying to tell the importance of how their production is needed. So that is very important. This filters through the business and motivates staff to perform even more than expected. So now we move on to the ethics, control, and good governance. So with this point of ethics and control, we are saying a stable workforce means that employees are motivated, happy and well trained, loyal to the business, and they stay with the business for longer, productivity, and take pride in their work. So with this one, whereby you are implementing an ethical practices and robust governance structures ensures accountability and transparency and compliance with regulations. So this builds trust with stakeholders and hence the company's reputation. So that is when you are doing what? Ethics or control and good governance. We can make an example where we're establishing a code of conduct and ethics training programs for employees, as well as audit committee to oversee financial reporting and internal controls. So that is that. Now we move on to another point where we are going to talk about stable workforce. A stable workforce. So with stable workforce, they are saying stable workforce, motivated, happy, and well trained. So this is where we are saying a stable and skilled workforce is essential for delivering high quality products or service consistently. So stable workforce, that is where you make sure that your employees are happy so that they can deliver the products and services of high quality. So that is very important. Now we move on to uniqueness of the business or product or services. So here you are going to try by all means to do what? Uniqueness of the business or product service means that business offers different products and services from their competitors. So for you to win competitive advantage, make sure that your products or services are different from your competitors. Product or service makes customers notice it and talk about it. So try by all means to differentiate your products and services to your competitors. So that is very important, whereby you are developing a unique value proposition that sets your business apart from competitors. Is critical for attracting and retaining customers. So that is very important. Now we come to identify areas of for development. Identifying areas for development. A business should consider the following aspects when evaluating areas for improvement. You regularly evaluate the price of every product, operate from a plan based on its vision, make sure that the money comes in quickly. So that is that. So now we come to strategies that business can use to remain profitable and sustainable. So strategies that business can use to remain profitable and sustainable. That is through planning. So through planning, that is when now you make a proper planning. That is when you make a proper planning. Proper planning. That is why now you make a proper planning. That is proper succession planning so that it can continue to exist despite all the challenges and threats that is confronted with. So that is the planning, good planning that will help you your business to be able to overcome what the challenges. The proper planning is the one that will help you to overcome the challenges that will be there. Competitors that will want to enter the market. So another one, through planning will ensure the business is not damaging the environment. So if you have well planned, it means you are going to make sure that the business operations are not going to damage what the environment. Hope we make sense on that one. Sound managing finances ensure that a sound return investment can be guaranteed to investors. So the investors will want to make a business or invest into a business if there are good returns, if they are guaranteed good returns. So it means that will help the business to grow. So make sure that there is a sound return on investment so that such will attract what investors, helping the business to grow. Now we move on to another point where now we are going to talk about effective or sound managing finances. So ensure that, okay, we've talked about it. Effective management of scarce resources and employees. Ensure that business is using resources parallelly and employees are attracted and retained. So that is why we have said, make sure now we're going to remain with the employees. Because if changing of employees now and then is going to hold the business from growing. So make sure that you motivate your employees, you make them be happy so that they will be able to work towards your goals. Maintaining solid customer base. Make sure that you are going to keep your customers so that they can make what repeat purchases. They will always come back. So you can do that by making sure that you even do more after sales service, where you check on them whether they're still fine, where you make sure that will ensure that you take care of them. So here there's a keep a record of people buying their product and meeting the needs of customer consistently. So once you are always going to respond to their needs, you are going to solve their problem, you are going to bridge their gap. That will make the customer to always remain with the business. Behave ethically. Ensure that people continue to support your business and having the image of not being corrupt. So, as an organization, make sure that you're going to behave ethically. You're going to do things right. That is that. Being socially responsible. So, as an organization, promote the image of business by investing in corporate social investment. Invest in the community where your business is operating. Very important. Give back to them. Try to come up with the projects. Projects can be the educational projects where you teach them on how to start business, how to start their own business. It's very important to do that as the business. That will give a business a very good image, and the business will enjoy more sales because the customers will always want to go to such a business which is making sure that it's giving back to the community. Being ethical and taking care of the environment, being environmentally aware and friendly, like we've talked about it, that make sure that you are not going to harm the environment with your business operations. Considering the triple bottom line by managing profit, planet, and people. As you have talked about it, that with your profit, make sure that part of it you are going to help the community to grow by making use of the projects. By also make sure that you are not going to profit at the expense of the community. So planet, that is where we've talked about the environment. where you are making sure that the environment is not going to be harmed. People, that is when you are being socially responsible, whereby you are going to take care of the well-being of your employee as well. Now we come to upskilling and development of employees. Ensure that employees uh, ensure that employees keep abreast with changing technologies in the business industry. So you upskill and develop your employees. Give training to employees if ever there is a new technology that is taking place. So make sure that you let them improve by making sure that you're going to provide training with them. So that is the end of the presentation. Ensure that you are going to hit the subscription button and share with those who are concerned.